Imagine that the colors red and blue are people. Red and blue have a kid. The kid would be called Purple, right? Not exactly. Her name could also be Heather Bunch, or Lady Di, or Viva Vel. So we know that blue plus yellow equals green, red plus white equals pink. But the equation is not as simple as that. Am I right, Shelley?
Yes, you're correct. The equation is not as simple as that. There are actually 11 basic colour words in English, and the spectrum is actually much wider than that. So when you see this, and this, you will see they're all purple. But actually, there are thousands of purples out there and the possibilities are endless. So for example, if you think of purple colour itself, you can think of food like grapes, it's also purple. Flowers like lavender, or even if you consider sunset, dusk is also a purple colour, but they're all different. There's a need to actually create a name for each of the colour because it's easier if you have a name and people could just get it from there.
Who comes up with these names anyway?
I do, but of course I also include all my teammates to come in and give all the choices. For example, if you look at colours like 1199 Sail White or even like 1142 White, all these are actually special colour codes only created for Singapore market. So when it comes to colour, they're supposed to give an expression. I do run out of ideas sometimes. So what I'll do is, I will start to think of my colleague. I actually use my colleague's child, Jude's name, to actually bring into one of the colour. So I have a Jude's blue for him. Sometimes when my colleague need help with colours, they'll come to me and say, Shelley, where is this BGG1699P? And I'll be like, it's in the fan deck. What about 1199? It's in the Colour My World book. I wish I can have a super memory and have all the thousands of colours memorized in my head, but I can't always tell them the correct answer. So usually when people are renovating or they're going to repaint their homes, the first thing they think of is, let me decide what the colour is. But actually, they should look at the furniture first because furnitures are actually more expensive and the colours, everything are going to be fixed for a very long time.
What do you think, Shelley?
Well, go for bold feature walls. I mean, they're good. They're going to look nice.
Can you create any colour you like?
We want to, but we can't because at the end of the day, we should be creating colours that the consumer wants. So when it comes to new colours, there's always a close relationship with our R&D, our technical team, because we need to ask them, I like this colour, can you make this colour for us?
So the first thing we'll sit down with her, understand what is the needs of the colours and the way that they want to apply the colours. So we will get our colour expert to actually get the colour match using a computerized colour system. When the colour formulation are determined, we can actually store it into the computerized system, and with a simple push of the button, we can actually dispense the colour. All the technicians, including myself, need to have certain colour sense in the whole spectrum of the colours. Every one of us may have deficiency in certain colours. So we need to go through that test to ensure that the technician is capable of judging colour before he can take up the task of colour matching. Paint is not just beautifying the wall with many colours. You may want to paint with easy wash property. You may go for paints with low order or orderless features. You may want paint that have the function to actually shoo away all those mosquitoes. When mosquito actually landed on the coatings, it actually breaks down the nervous system of the mosquito. The paint has to go through several different testing. For example, for easy wash, whereby it has to go through the wet scrub machine to pass minimum 10,000 cycles of scrubbing. For orderless range, we actually did a blind test with a panelist of people. We also do paint comparison, paint from US, from India, from China, and test it in our Singapore climates.
They kind of look the same though.
Visually, it might look the same to you, but if you were to put together with a control panel that we keep in the lab, you may be able to compare and detect the colour difference. At the end, we can have all these cool things for paint, but it still has to be affordable to the customers. Imagine a world with no colours. Our building is just white and grey. It will be very dull. If colours in the form of paint can make lives much more better for everyone, that makes paints even more special. The most excited is when my kids say that, Mommy, is this paint made by you? Then I feel a sense of fulfillment.